Okay, guys, here's a very common scenario I get asked every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, okay? Let's just say you're out with your dog, you're out on a hike or out at a nice big open public park, something to that effect. Your dog is e-collar trained. I can't believe I just did air quotes. It's out running around freely because it has the ability to be free. You trust your dog, you've done some training, and now all of a sudden a deer jumps out in front of your dog and takes off. A lot of people say, what do I do in that situation? Well, that depends. That depends on what your dog does. Okay, how does your dog react to that situation? A lot of people aren't prepared for that. Okay, so the deer jumps out. If your dog takes off after the deer, that is where a lot of people struggle because they go out there, they rely on the e-collar, but at the same time, the e-collar is not set to the appropriate level to handle that situation, okay? So people get caught up on low-level stuff because they've taught the dog on low-level e-collar stuff, but then they put the dog in a situation where that is not going to be effective, right? Okay, so now if the dog takes off, the best thing you can do is, without saying a word, use an appropriately high aversive tap on the e-collar to stop that dog in his tracks without saying anything. Doesn't have to associate it with you. Should be associated with doing this, chasing this animal, just created that, and you don't have to say anything. With that being said, it has to be aversive enough to make a big impact on the dog. And a lot of people aren't prepared when they go out in that situation, okay? That's if the dog just takes off and chases the animal, whatever it is. Now, second scenario, deer jumps out, takes off, your dog is just standing there, doesn't take off after the deer. What can you do in that situation? Well, if you don't think your dog is going to chase, you could just watch and learn a little something about your dog, right? And when he doesn't chase, you could praise him big time. Or you could use that to practice that recall in that situation at that moment. So you could recall your dog at that moment. Again, if your dog doesn't respond, this is a perfect opportunity to follow up with a tap on that e-collar at an appropriate level for that situation. It's not going to be the same as if your dog took after a deer to stop that unwanted behavior, right? So with the first situation, you have an emergency. You have to stop an unwanted, very dangerous behavior. Behavior that can get your dog in a lot of trouble, hurt, even killed. That's important. And also, you have a responsibility to protect the wildlife out there that your dog is going to be harassing. That simple. So that level set on that e-collar is going to be different when your dog hesitates recalling him away from a situation when he's not giving chase. Does that make sense? Okay, so in other words, a deer takes off, your dog is sitting there looking like, what do I do? You call your dog, he doesn't come, little tap on aversive enough that the dog wants to escape it, but it's important that he knows how to escape it. And then you could praise your dog, go about your day, all right? Very, very simple. Now, at the end of the day, this is really important, guys. If your dog will chase wildlife, if your dog will not come to you when called, if your dog will hesitate to come to you when called, and you have to rely on that e-collar, then we have to be honest with ourselves and understand that the training has to be better. The training is not where it should be, and your dog is not ready to be in that situation. We have to be more honest with ourselves, and we have to be fair to the animal. We have to put into work, because the end goal should be, in that situation, that your dog will not chase animals without you saying a thing, and your dog will respond and come to you in any situation in the real world without any tools on. At least for me and for my clients, that's always the end goal. The dog responds the same whether there's tools on or not. That means that your dog responds to you when you say something, when you need something, when you give a command, every single time, and loves doing so. Okay? So I hope that helps. Peace.